Hello, class, and welcome. I hope all is going great in your neck of the woods. I'm Dr. Brian Wright, and that's me in the photo there. And I live on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. And to see my bio, you can review the link right here. It's a video. And I want to take just a moment to go over a few things for the class. The first is extensions. In the event that something comes up that keeps you from completing some of your coursework, you may be eligible for an extension, and you may apply for the extension during the last 2 weeks of class. If you would, apply for it as quickly as you can at the beginning of that 2 weeks. That way I can help you work through a game plan of how to get your assignments completed, because you're only going to have 2 weeks beyond the end date of the class. And to be approved for the extension, you'll need to have 70% of the required work completed at that time. But I did want you to be aware, in case something comes up, there are some options for you. Next, I'm going to review some of the expectations. First, the discussion boards. The goal is to have your primary post completed by Thursday of each week. This will allow time for your peers to respond by Sunday. And the goal of the discussions is to be interactive. Think of them as an ongoing conversation. Once you've posted your primary response, then you'll be able to respond to your peers. We're looking for 50 to 100 word responses. And I'm looking for responses that are conversational in nature. Also, within the discussion boards, be sure to include in-text citations and references. And for the most part, many of your discussions should have that. There should be some scholarly information or some research that you've done to include in your answers. Late work. It's the university's policy that there'll be a 10% reduction for late work. However, I understand things do come up, and as long as you email me and let me know you've run into some issues, you're going to be a little bit late with your assignment, I'm happy to work with you on that reduction or even waive the reduction depending on the circumstances. For your discussions, I will provide written feedback, so be sure to read that if you're not receiving the scores that you would like. I put details in there of what you could do to improve your scores. And then when it comes to grading the individual projects, I will grade those within 7 days from the due date. And you'll have written feedback with some specifics. And then for every individual project, I'll also include a voice recording, talking about things that I liked, areas that you may need to improve, sharing perhaps different ideas, concepts, etc. So be sure to listen to those. And when it comes to the Turnitin scores, again, the goal is to be at 35% or less. If they're higher than 35%, I do review all of those. And sometimes it's a little high because you have a lot of references or you included questions, and I'll take that into consideration. But if it's high because you've used too much information from other sources, then you need to paraphrase that. And I'll often ask you to resubmit it, or at times I may take just a few points off for a high OV score. But if you'll take a look at these links that I've included, they will give you some great guidance for how to paraphrase, because it can be tricky when it comes to paraphrasing. And that's all that I wanted to share with you. Let's make it a great class. Thanks a lot, everybody.